Right then, it looks like it's being widely reported that Manchester United are looking at one of 4 potential candidates to be the next Manchester United manager. The Athletic are one of the main sources that are reporting this, but it looks like it's literally starting to come out everywhere. So let's have a look at the 4 candidates, look at some of the pros and cons, and see if we can get a clearer picture of 1 who might be, and 2 who actually might be the best choice out of these ones. So number 1 on this list somehow is Pochettino. Pochettino, long linked with the position at United. Does have previous experience in the Premier League, which is definitely a plus for him. He had that spell, obviously, with Tottenham Hotspur. But we would needed to reach an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain to get him out of there. Now, it seems like over Christmas, certainly just before Christmas, there was a hell of a lot of talk that he wanted out of Paris. He wasn't happy with the interference from some of the sporting directors and basically the player power that exists at Paris Saint-Germain, and wanted to go somewhere else. Has been a big fan of Manchester United and wants to be part of Manchester United and all of these sorts of things. It seems like he very much would love to sit in that chair. I don't think, if you've got a problem with the way the board are butting in, and if you've got a problem with player power, I don't think it's going to be any easier for you at Manchester United. Not if Ronaldo and that's still here, at least. On the pro side, I think he might be the only one that's got experience in English football. Certainly in the top flight. He did reach a Champions League final with Spurs, which was great going for him, even though he didn't manage to win anything. That has to go down as a pro, I think. He did spend a lot of money, but also got shafted at times as well from Levy in terms of not giving him the investment. But he did have a hell of a lot of players that he brought in. He is the only man on this list, I think, whose silverware record can be questioned because it's completely devoid of it. Yet to win a major honour in Paris. Tottenham side came up short time and time again in semi-finals throughout his tenure. Recruitment's been an issue for Pochettino. Many of the successes that have involved in working with younger players rather than directly utilising the market, that could be seen as a positive working at Manchester United. Several of the signings that he pulled in at Tottenham failed to work, and getting the right players through the door at United will be difficult and very key to what he does. My overall thoughts on Pochettino. I don't buy the smoke. Very much think he's massively overrated and would not be top of any list that I was putting together. Next on the list, someone that would actually probably feature prominently on any list that I was putting together is Ten Hag. Won a lot of admirers for his work with Ajax, and for all the people that are about to say, well, hang on, Ajax didn't win that Champions League either. No, they didn't. But he has won titles. And actually, Ajax weren't dominating Eredivisie like people assume prior to Ten Hag coming in. Not only did he assemble one team that achieved greatness, punched way above its weight, punched way above its transfer budget, he lost that team. It got bought out from underneath him, and he's rebuilt another Ajax team that's doing bits, not just locally, but also on the European stage. He knows all about the pressure of delivering by being a very big club in the Netherlands. He's also, in a short space of time, put together a style of play by playing a lot of younger players and developing them. And that would be traits that I think that would be attractive to the Manchester United board. On the negative side, you can kind of say that Ajax are the biggest club in Holland, so getting Ajax back to challenging again, most managers can do. And I would tend to agree that's probably the case. Rebuilding in the speed he's done, maybe not, but I think it's a very well-run club, managerial-wise, front of house sort of way with Van der Sar and Overmars and Dennis Bergkamp involved in there. The structure that's around him is set up for him to be a success. Don't know if that's necessarily the case here at United. I don't really want to take away from any of the success that he's done here, but you've got to think like how much of this feeds into that. Do you know what I mean? It's a consideration, is all I'm saying. The senior officials at United kind of known to be a little bit more hands-on and a little bit less experienced than the likes of Van der Sar, which is something that you've definitely got to fight against. Another name on the list is Luis Enrique, currently in charge of the Spanish national side, won a treble during his reign at Barcelona in 2014-15. Difficult to potentially prize him away from the national side given the World takes place later this year. On the pro side of stuff, he's one of the few managers in history to complete a treble. Something Pep gets all the praise in the world for with that Barcelona side. And Enrique probably more or less kept it going, I would say. But he did that at Barcelona, now making the calls with Spain. They were a penalty shootout away from being in the Euro 2020 final. He would arrive with pedigree. He does arrive having managed some of the biggest names in football in Messi and in Neymar, so no problems potentially with him in the Manchester United dressing room. On the con side, he hasn't had a club job in 5 years, and it might be a bit of a concern. The day-to-day is obviously entirely different internationally as it is nationally. I don't know if he's used to the day-to-day demands, and Barcelona is probably one of the only clubs that I think you could compare to the scrutiny that you would come under at Manchester United. But negotiating his Spanish exit before a World Cup could prove beyond doable, I think. In terms of how he sets his team up and plays, I think he's a little bit more direct than Guardiola is. I think he obviously understands all of those Cruyffian principles. I don't think he was treated very fairly at Barcelona. For whatever reason it went wrong with him. It's one of those, I think, isn't it? He could be high up on the list, I think, but I'm still not convinced he's perfect for us. And the other one is Lopetegui. And he fits the bill for managing high-profile outfits, kinda. Obviously, he had a successful spell in Sevilla. Left on the eve of the World Cup from the Spanish national team in 2018 because he took the Real Madrid job, and then the Real Madrid job went completely tits up for him. He won the Europa League in 2020, beat United in the semi-finals, and has Sevilla challenging for the La Liga title. Far exceeding his resources, probably would relish the opportunity at another top club. And of the four, he seems to be the most accessible due to who employs him. On the cons, his only experience of managing a top European side was a horrendous spell where he hugely underachieved and struggled. But it was around the time that Cristiano Ronaldo left. He lasted only 4.5 months as Madrid manager. But they've gone through a bit of a restructure and a reform. Was he the first victim of what was an already broken system? That remains to be seen. I still put him above Pochettino, though. And I'd put them in that order: Ten Hag, Luis Enrique, Lopetegui, Pochettino. For me, Ten Hag stands out above the rest here. He works with an ethos that I think aligns with Manchester United's. He works with young players. He develops young players. And I think giving him a transfer budget, that's the question mark, is we don't know what he would do with big money signings and big superstars. But I think he commands the respect from what he's achieved in the game. He has won titles, and he has taken teams very far into the Champions League, plays a nice style of football, very pleasing on the eye, very attacking, very Manchester United in its ways. And I think there's a lot of mutual respect, Manchester to Ajax and Ajax through Manchester. I think he would be very well suited. Obviously, he's got Van der Sar to talk about and talk to. I'm sure he would have the inside track through some of the connections Van der Sar's got on whether or not United would be a valid move for him. But it remains to be seen which they're going for. It's not the strongest list I've ever seen for managerial candidates, but I guess that there's something. Like, you can almost draw a line through a lot of them and see similar styles and patterns of play, which is a positive, I guess. And then we have the conundrum of, where does Ralf Rangnick fit into this, and what's his involvement in selecting his replacement? It's new. No, I guess only really Fergie did that, and you can't say that went well for him. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this all does actually play out when it does play out. But that's the four. One of those is probably going to be the new Manchester United manager. Who do you want it to be? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.